We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport. Welcome to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We've got a great show for you guys today, as always, Rick.
Definitely, John.
So we have who?
Lee Maher.
And Chris Talley. We are excited for you guys to see the show. We're going to be right back, and we're going to tell you everything that has happened in the most recent US Equestrian Open. We'll be right back. Want to advertise on the John and Rick Show? Contact John at 352-875-8622.
Or call Rick at 850-879-2649.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are in the Jump for Joy studios, John, and this is our first show in April.
Yes.
So
we are in Kentucky month.
So you know what? We're moving.
Wait.
Yeah, we sold the farm.
Oh, because we're April. You had me for a split
April
second.
Fools!
I was like, what is going on?
Just
God,
kidding.
You're so clever.
I know. We have a great show. You said it in the intro. We got
I clicked, sorry.
Lee Maher and Chris Talley, newly engaged and getting married in October. Cool guys. But we had TerraNova.
Yeah.
And you had some good goes on your horses.
Yeah, my horses were good. I was in the 3-star. I had Zelda there. And
She's everybody's favorite.
oh, she is awesome.
They like her because she's a red-headed
Mare?
girl.
Yes. No, she's pretty special. So I had her, and then I had Kurt in the 3-star as well, and they were both very good and young horses. And it is, I think, such a good event for the horses of all levels because there is so much atmosphere there, and it's great for the horses to get exposed to that there, so that hopefully when you go to Kentucky or Maryland or Morven or any of those big events later in their career, they're all prepared for it.
Definitely. It was, the footing was terrific. The courses looked beautiful.
I didn't tell you what happened.
No, what happened?
So
inside story.
this is actually funny, and I don't like to always talk too much about my horses and my rides because I feel like people come to the show to hear from.
But I like to
from
hear
our
about
guests.
your horses in your show.
So
I mean,
I'm on Kurt, and first of all, for the first time ever, he had a little bit of a panic attack of getting out to the warm up, and didn't want to go. And then I got him there. I had to get off and lead him to the warm up, and he was nervous, and I kept trying to reassure him. And then we get into the warm up, and then I had to take him down and let him walk around, which he's never done this before.
because you don't have an Equibrew.
No, I do. Kurt's on it.
Okay.
He is, but maybe I
Needed
need to
double
double
his
dose him.
dose.
Yeah, but it's never happened before. I don't know what it was. Something got into him that day, and he's kind of a worrier type of horse anyway. Anyway, so I'm getting really hot, temperature-wise. It was a hot day, and he was my third horse I rode, so my helmet was already kind of sweaty, but I didn't think anything of it. So I get him out of the start box, and he's great. We're going cross country. He's happy. He loves it. That is his jam. We jump fence 1, jump fence 2, jump fence 3, which is the oxer. And it's this big open oxer. And I see not a crazy distance, but a little bit of a mover, and I land. And it was like the Niagara Falls came out of my helmet into my eyes. And just all in my eyes, my left eye especially. And so I go to the tricaner with one eye. And I'm like, this is insane. I don't know, and I saw it, and he leapt in the air because the distance I saw wasn't perfect. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get this organized. So I'm trying to wipe my eye, but I have sunglasses on, and I am at a point in my life where I actually kind of need sunglasses when I'm riding in the sun, otherwise I don't see as well. So I'm trying to wipe my eyes out, and I'm like, I can't. So all of a sudden I'm like, well, I gotta get organized for the next jump. So I turn to the water, and then it falls out of my helmet again, and now it's in both eyes, and I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. Nobody goes blind from sweat in their eyes. Like, it clears, right?
This is awesome.
It is like acid in my eyes. I can't see a thing. I see it out of part of my right eye. I see the login. I close my eyes, jump it, and then I look, and I can see the blur of the
So there's no
fence.
counting any kind of
No,
strides here.
I get there in a beautiful 4.5. He leaps in the air again, lands, and I'm like, okay, this has got to stop.
So what did you do?
So I ripped off my glasses, threw them, rubbed my eyes while we're galloping like this, clear them, and then continue on.
Oh my
and it
gosh.
took, actually, through the brushes, I still was a little bit blurry. It
Why
took
didn't
through
you
the
tell
next
me this
steeplechase
earlier? This
because
is
I was saving
great.
it. I was saving it
So
because sometimes
good.
we talk and then I take up the good
So
stories.
you need new sunglasses.
No, because
Yeah.
God bless our volunteers is the point. I went out. I had an hour between Kurt.
It's like trying to find a lost shoe.
I went out an hour between Kurt and Zelda, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to find him. But I knew right where I threw him. Like, there's no way. So I'm walking around out there, and I'm like, I have like 5 minutes to find these things. And all of a sudden, one volunteer comes by, and she says, are you looking for your sunglasses? And I'm like, yes. The jump judge has them. So I walk over, and the jump judge, she sees me. She comes running to me with my sunglasses. She's like, here you go. You'll be set for your next horse. Put my glasses back on. I don't know who you are or what your name is, but thank you. Because I went back. I traded out my helmet, my arrow helmet, for my other arrow helmet, and it was dry. No issues. But maybe in the summer, remember not to wear your sweaty helmet for 3 horses in a row.
Yeah, that's bad.
It was terrible. I've never had anything happen like that before.
You must have been sweating a lot.
Oh my God, it was just like drama day for me. Like,
That's always drama day for you, John.
no, but like it was really drama. Like, he wouldn't go to the warm up. He stopped at the tent stabling and wouldn't go past it. I had to get off and lead him. I'm like, I need Elisa or Tick here to get this horse over to the ring.
Lisa or Tick. By the way, that's a good segue.
Yes, it is. It's almost like I planned it.
Ooh, that was
Yes.
good. Congratulations to Tick Maynard for winning the Road to the Horse for
Yep.
the 2nd year in a row.
It's amazing.
Really, really good. He didn't have a clean sweep like he did the first year, which is okay.
A win's a win, baby.
But because they do phase winning,
Right?
and they go on through. And I think Vicky is her first name, won the first phase of that,
Right.
and then he won the rest of them. Brought home the money. He's got to bring home the bacon.
That's right.
So good. Congratulations to the Maynards. I saw that Sinead, as usual, was up there with the kids supporting.
Yeah, I talked to Sinead ahead of time, and she actually it was interesting. She didn't say, but I got the feeling she wasn't as confident going in this year as the last year, because she felt like last time he was like a bit of an unknown. People didn't know what to expect of him, and he was the only English rider. And this year he went in, and I guess there was 1 or 2 of the other riders were primarily English discipline riders. And so she didn't know how that was going to work out and felt like he was maybe a little bit more relaxed getting ready because he knew what to expect. But obviously, Tick is a thoughtful guy and knew exactly what to do.
Did a great thing.
Crushed it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well done. And so you were talking about the US Equestrian Open.
Yep.
Can you talk more about that now that you know more about it?
Like the series itself?
Yeah.
I don't know that much about it. Why don't you tell us?
You even did a teaser.
Yeah, I know, because it was there. It was the US Equestrian Open. So it is the 4-star short competitions. Every 4-star short in the US got the opportunity to become a part of the series. And you qualify for the final off of those 4 shorts.
You have to qualify by a qualifying MER.
Right, okay. And then you can go to the final.
Correct.
But then there is also something right at the final for the Europeans if they want to like
$5,000
pony
buy-in.
up, and it goes right into the pot.
It's not just Europeans.
Anybody?
Anybody.
So like if I'd never done a 4 short, but I was qualified for the final, I could go? If I'd never done a 4 short that was a US Open.
Correct.
Okay. So you have to be qualified.
You have to be
furlong.
qualified to do the 4 long.
Right.
And you can just pay to get into, and they take that money and put it into the purse.
Right.
So I think it's a $200,000 purse. That's
Plus whatever the Europeans and everybody else puts in.
what they put in, and lead ups. There's going to be the top 3. I think Phillips.
Do they have to pay 25% more now when they put money into
Maybe.
the pot?
That's going to be a problem, right? I don't even know how all that's going to work.
I don't know. Let's not go political.
I know, right?
Just a joke. Just a joke.
Well, that's another segue into the Canada thing for us.
Yes.
But anyway, they will do the top 3 riders in accumulation of points through the Open 4 shorts.
Okay.
So Philip is winning right now with points.
Yep.
And then second and third. So they get, I think it's 75, 50, 25.
Yep.
I think. So it's very good incentive.
Yep.
But it accumulates in October at Morven's Forlong. Or is that September? September Forlong.
I think it's October.
It's October?
Yeah,
Beginning
pretty
of.
sure, yeah. Because I have a terrible memory, just thinking about big 4 short events. What's the event that's Stuart Bunting just designed? Thorsbury? It's in Eventing Nation. Can you look it up, Briggs? Because he just did a nearly 100% frangible cross-country
Oh, I saw
course.
that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
and it's on EN. I just want to make sure I get the
I
name
did.
of the
You
event
just pull
right.
up
I'm pretty
EN
sure it's
on-
Thorsbridge or Thorsbury, and I'm sorry
I did
for
see
my
that.
European
I
friends that I
completely-
have that messed up. But I think that's really cool, right? And I didn't see much of the course, but I think any of that stuff where designers can be proactive and try to introduce this stuff, and they're getting so good at designing these jumps. And what made me think about it was the TerraNova course, and there was a lot of frangibles out there as well, like there always are. It's pretty cool to see that stuff out there.
Yeah, I love that that's happening, and it's hard work by you.
Well, I haven't done anything other than just promote it, but
You got started it. You got it started.
Did you watch a lot of the 4 short at TerraNova?
I did.
And what were your thoughts on the course?
It was. I thought it was great. Actually, it asked the right questions, and it had some things that needed to take some thinking.
Yep.
Lisa had her second run on her horse. And I think a lot of people are having trouble with the rail and the mound down to the offset angles.
Yeah, that first big question, basically.
Yeah, basically, first it was 7A, 7ABC, whatever
They
it
ran
was.
through the water before that, but that wasn't
Correct.
much of a question.
Yeah, it was a jump in and then an angle out.
What is it? Thorsbury?
Yeah.
Thorsbury. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know
almost-
Stuart. He's on the risk management committee, and I just like that he walks the walk and talks the talk. I guess
was
was the
good.
main thing I was going to say. Sorry, not to get us back off topic again. Yes.
You were mentioning in the fall about having logs that are frangible.
Yes.
They did that.
There you go.
It's more like, it's like a frangible table, but
It's a log. Then they hollow out the log. I think is how they do it. They basically put the skin on it. Let's see. You can walk
just
right
like a table. So it's
Yeah.
so they have the
Yeah, I think the thing is it has to be, there's a certain amount of weight.
weight and the angles and
And what they've done is they've hollowed out the inside of it
to make it less
to make it weigh less, and then it's on a MIM kit. It's just like if
I think that's great.
the problem is it only takes money.
Yeah.
Thank you, Briggs.
But a life is worth
Yeah,
all
but
that
you have to be
money.
able to raise it, right?
Right.
So
I think people will be able to raise it. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to get there.
Did
but
a-
to Alec Lahore,
Yep.
I think he's done a great job. He last fall or November, the 4 short and the 4 long had that controversial, very steep coffin.
Yes.
And he removed that and did more like a sunken road this time on a ditch further up,
Yep.
or a ravine further up.
But that coffin will be back in.
It will be. It's
But
there.
they've rebuilt it. You
They're-
saw
Yeah, they were redoing it and all
yeah,
that.
it's much lower.
Yeah. They needed to take some. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool, but
It
I
was
didn't
cool.
have to write it.
Yeah, exactly. It was cool to look at.
So his course, but it was great. And what I did like about what they did is they kept the national divisions all on the right side.
Yeah.
And the FEI was a little bit on the right side, but went out to where the pavilion is,
Yeah.
and came back around. So they kept all the national on the right side.
Yeah, so like the 3 and the 4 went over to the sort of the arena water into
Correct.
that area, and then the horse trials and the 2 and the 1 came over the other side a bit. more.
Correct.
Yeah, it was cool. I think I will say this, Alec, I personally think has done such a good job taking a very flat piece of ground and he's made it feel like real cross country.
I like what he's done. He took out those stupid walls,
The ditch wall, yeah.
ditch wall,
The hip
4,
walls.
4, and 3.
The hip walls.
The hip wall, there was a 2. The 2 hip wall is still there.
Right.
But he took the colors off and did it a different color. I think will jump better.
Yeah.
But the big log tricaners are beautiful
Yeah,
there.
they're very cool.
And it flowed really well. And there's some really big questions, like the 2 open oxer corners.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
at least,
so I was going to ask, did Elisa go straight there?
yeah,
And how'd that go?
good.
Yeah, and she made the back rail of the second one easy enough? That's good, because I watched Philip go on the first horse. He was first out, and I watched 1 or 2 others go through there, but I can't remember who they were. And those horses, they were reaching for that back rail.
Yeah, it was amazing. Go ahead.
She actually chipped in
She did.
a third, and the mare's so powerful, she just eked.
Okay, so she didn't get the 2, she got 3.
Right.
And then and I think that's what I was going to say is, like, being fair. I think in general he did a very good job, but I think he missed a bit on that combination. I think the distance was a bit too long for as wide as the second fence was.
And it had a tricaner oxer with water running through it.
yeah.
I mean, I agree with you, but the other thing is, if you did feel that way, there was an option that worked really well.
For sure, but I think
But
if
you-
you get
you
a
should
good
close
shot
the
in,
distance.
the horses I saw,
Struggled over the second part.
and they had a good jump in.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, you don't get it perfect every time, but I would hope if he keeps that question on there, which I'm sure he won't, I would imagine he'll change it. But when he goes back to that again, that distance.
I remember it was 36.
it was too long.
It was a little bit too long
for
for that
2 strides.
at the end of the course too.
And if the second one had just been an angled rail and didn't have the back half of the corner to it,
would've been fine.
It would have been fine. But it was too wide for as long as it.
Well, the funny thing is, we talked about that one for a long time, and Lisa, I saw a couple of others go, but I didn't see them have the trouble reaching over. And when she had the reflection off that angled brushes, she decided she was going to make it. She's like, I might as well try to take her to the double open. What do I have to lose? I wanted her to get that experience.
Right.
Because they did say it was kind of like Vicarage V,
Excuse me.
right?
It's kind of like what? Sorry.
Vicarage V.
Yes. No, for sure. The second one was. 'cause
So
it was,
I was shocked. I was watching her on. I was like, okay, she's going to go the long route because she already had a 20, and
Right.
And she got there, and I was like, oh, she's going straight, and she did. As Briggs, she went and went to it, and then she just sat still, and the mare patted in and went
shot over.
way over.
It almost probably helped because you leave long and weak in the 2, and
Yeah.
then you would have had the
I
back
mean, it was
rail.
a power over. It was pretty impressive. I mean, I remember I let out a woo.
The other fence that I thought was pretty influential was the bounce bank
Yep.
at the end. And I saw a couple people activate that rail. I saw one stop, which I actually want to talk about. But it's interesting. So I know there was one activation in the 4-star and there was one in the 3-star at the rail where they hit it. And I think it's something we have to, as a sport, think about a little bit. If you have activations, particularly with front legs at a MIM fence, then I think you have to ask the question, is that a good fence? Because if that had been not MIM and had been a vertical like in the old days, you would have had 2 horses fall.
Yeah, I didn't see either activation, so I.
I did, and
So
you
it
would
was
have had
front
2 horses.
legs.
Yes, which to Alex's credit, he used MIM rail, and so he didn't have that
mean, that's
happen.
why
and
he could do
That's
that.
why you do it. But when we talked about putting frangibles in originally, the idea was do not put them in anywhere you wouldn't put a fence if it weren't frangible. That was the whole original mindset, was if you wouldn't build it without being frangible, then don't build it with frangible.
And I think, and I'm not going to talk for Alec, but I think he did go maximum height.
It was
because
big.
it was frangible.
Possibly.
Because I mean, the 4-star jump in had to have been at 311.
It was huge. And for the 3-star, it was huge.
Yeah,
for
and
the
I
level.
just saw stops. I said stop, and funny enough, and I mean I love Autumn, and Autumn had a stop in the 4-star and a stop in the 3-star.
Right.
But to her credit, both horses came back around, because I would think your horse wouldn't want to jump it once it stopped at it.
Right.
But both of hers came back around and jumped through.
Well, I think the other, and look, to be fair, the ones that I saw, it was not
Very
good. It was
doable.
not good riding, which is what led to the problem.
Right.
But I just think, and that's not being an indictment of Alec in any way. I think he's done an amazing job there. But it's just sort of something I was wondering is like if you have a couple activations like that save the day, then I think as a designer you would have to look at it and say, okay, so is that something I want to do again?
Or maybe you just make it lower.
Or what I would say is, do you put a setup fence to it? Because the question he asked was, open up over an oxer, gallop on, open up over a table, gallop on, now set your horse up yourself and do the bounce
like
bank
go
down.
into a coffin.
Which is a fair question, but if you're worried about, okay, are they going to actually get this done with this bounce bank in, the other thing you do is you set it up on a table or some kind of a spread fence, a setup fence, on a related distance.
They tried to do that with the coffin the year before.
It didn't work, but I don't know if it would have worked without it either, that coffin.
Yeah.
That typically does work. That's how they do it. Is they set you up with a fence.
Do you have the stats on that?
Yes, it's right here. 30% of the time, it works every time.
30% of the time, it happens every time.
Yeah.
But at that level, 3-4 star, that's what's required. So
Agreed.
so
I agree.
You should.
But it's that balance, right, between testing horses and riders and protecting the sport from horses and riders that don't get it done. And how do you balance
Well, I think
that?
we're managing that pretty well.
I hope
but
so.
we have a great show.
We do.
We even talk about MERs and dressage scores and CRs and show jump with Chris and Lee.
Lee, good job.
That'll be fun.
Before we wind down and take a break to go into Chris and Lee, we do have to announce the winner from the last show.
Oh, yeah.
So the contest last time, guys, for the I Love My Horse gift certificate was...
BK Eventing 7481.
Okay, well, that's the winner. But the contest was what horse would William Speedlane Fox Pitt
Come out of retirement.
for? And the answer was Lordship's Graffalo.
I don't think it's an R.
Gaffalo? Are you sure?
That's how they all spelled it.
Okay, well...
They could all be wrong on you.
The correct winner was, say it again.
BK Eventing 7481.
All right, so what you're going to do, BK Eventing 7841, is you are going to send me a text at 352-875-8622 and give me your name and shipping address. And then we're going to send you off your prize. Well, actually, by we, I mean Rick. I'm going to text him, and then he's going to forget for a week or two, and then I'm going to text him again. But I'm going to forget who won it, and then I'm going to go back and look at my messages and try to find your number
This
again.
is a long way to say. I think I send it out pretty promptly. The last winner is going out tomorrow.
Right. I'm just saying.
But it takes them forever to get me the address and stuff to me. So if you're out there and really want to bypass the middleman, you send it to 850-879-2649, and I'll get it shipped right out.
But if you'd like it to be delayed, you could send it to me as well.
Good job.
All right. So let's take a break. Thank you to Jump for Joy for our beautiful studio. Thank you to Horse Trailer Pros, as always. You guys are amazing, keeping this show going. Thank you to all of you for watching. And we'll be right back with our next segment with Chris Talley and Lee Maher.
EquiBrew, now available in the USA. It's a live probiotic that you feed daily to your horses. The live microbes go into your horse's gut and cleans up the gut wall, creating a healthy gut system.
EquiBrew is an essential part of my feeding program. My horses love to eat it, and it does a really good job of promoting gut health and also good behavior and great performances.
It's something I recommend for all of your horses, no matter what they do in their careers.
It's so affordable, I can use it on all of my horses in the barn, not just my top horses.
Order EquiBrew today by going to brickfieldnutrition.com or calling 850-879-2649.
All right, so we're here with Sally Spickard, and I wanted to mention the new podcast, Go Eventing. Sally, it is going to be great.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's going to have bi-weekly episodes. We're going to have about 20 episodes for you in 2025. So we're very excited to have kicked this thing off and would love for everybody to take a listen. So I think we'll all do a lot of the same things, but I think more podcasts in the eventing space especially is going to be really cool.
Yeah,
I really like the idea. And Will Faudree is the
Yep.
first guest that you're having. What a great first guest to have.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everybody out there, need to watch or listen to your show on all the podcast outlets.
Yep.
And you can go to Eventing Nation's
eventingnation.podbean.com is the main podcast page. So you can listen to it there or on your favorite podcast platform.
Go eventing.
Go eventing.
Hi, my name is Caroline Pamuccio, and I'm here with Jump for Joy. These are one of my key training techniques I use at home. They're extremely easy to use. They're very safe. And the thing I love about it is that they fall down. They have safety cups on them, which are extremely important to me to keep me and the horse safe. I love the fact that Jump for Joy has these type of brush on the jumps. It's a really easy way to teach my young horses how to jump through brush properly. There's not a better jump on the market.
Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique allows him to identify and alleviate tightness in muscles. He uses trigger point massage to release points of restriction. Grant has over a decade of experience fitting and adjusting a wide variety of saddles. His expertise in equine physiology, coupled with a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle, allows him to quickly identify and correct any balance issues. Grant can also adjust your saddle on site. Grant works on all of my competition horses, and I have noticed a significant improvement in their performance at competitions and their overall way of going. Grant's based in Ocala, Florida year-round, but regularly travels to the surrounding areas. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454.
I stopped in and I love my horse today, and I gotta tell you guys, it is such a cool store. They're over at WEC, right by the Grand Prix Arena. They have everything you could possibly need. Clothing, tack, accessories, whatever you need to find, they will be able to take care of you. Fun store to shop in. If you're like me and you event and you need some last minute things at the competition to save the day, they also have a mobile unit, and I Love My Horse will absolutely take care of you and get you everything you need to have a great competition.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We're here with Lee Maher and Chris Talley, or Chris Talley and Lee Maher, however. And we are in the Equibrew segment. Equibrew is an awesome live probiotic. We want to make sure that we say thank you to Equibrew for sponsoring the segment.
Yeah, it's right behind Chris.
Chris, can you grab that for us?
Chris can grab that for us.
Do a little modeling for us with that.
The live probiotic, everybody, we've been talking about it since 2020 when it started coming back over, but horses' gut systems really go well with the live probiotics. The only one out there in the world comes from New Zealand, and it's taking off in the United States. It's really good stuff. I've even sent it over to Cinda Green, and she's put her horses on it, and they go back and forth because I can't always keep it over there.
Right.
But anyway, Equibrew, brickfieldnutrition.com.
All right, good stuff. So,
thank you, Chris.
Absolutely.
Thank you
We'll let y'all
both.
try
We get
some.
to take this
Yes.
home. Okay, perfect.
I could even get a case to you before you leave that you can try.
There we go.
There we go.
He's very good that way.
Yeah, he's selling it.
Good. We're good.
So, first, thank you both for coming.
Thanks for having us.
I know you had a busy weekend like all of us did, and then you were saying you're actually turning around pretty quickly and heading up to Stableview.
Yes. Yeah, we leave with 7 on Thursday morning for Stableview. So it's 6 at Teranova. Just keep going.
then on to Virginia.
So we probably should let everybody know who we have. I mean, I know we said Chris Talley and Lee Maher.
Yeah.
Chris, tell us about yourself.
I am 30-year-old 5-star event rider. I went to Kentucky in 2019 and then Burley on unmarked bills, thoroughbred horse that I had produced through the levels. So
That's cool. That's great.
now I'm doing it again.
He was a cool horse.
Yeah. Very cool. Good first horse to do it on.
And where did you get started?
So I grew up in Pennsylvania, and I kind of grew up in a not horse family, but
Right.
they were super supportive.
Sounds like
right
all of
outside
us.
of Unionville. And we were driving down 82 one day and past plantation fields, and I was in the backseat of the car and said, that's what I want to do. And I had always kind of loved horses, but I had seen the horses going cross country and whatnot, so I was kind of fixated on going cross country. And
where did you go to right after that to get started?
So when I was in high school, I was in my second year of high school, and I was sitting playing on my phone as most high schoolers do, and I had seen a working student position for Ryan Wood had posted, so I applied to that and started going after school.
Wow.
I was lucky enough that I kind of was up on my credits or whatever, so I had 3 periods, and then my 4th period I kind of had free, so I would just leave school and be to him by 2 o'clock and kind of work till whenever the barn was done and whatnot. And then I was there for almost 2.5 years, and then I kind of went out on my own and moved to Virginia. And then I was partnered with Hannah Salazar in Virginia for 9 years. And then just recently, 1.5 years ago, I went out on my own.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that happened. So great. That's the one half of what's going on here, right?
Yeah.
Now, Lee, you got to tell us about you.
Yeah.
Because here you are from Ireland. So give us your story.
Yeah, so I'm from Ireland. I relocated over here maybe 5 years ago. My friend called me one day and she said, I've got a job for you. So I actually came over to work for Caroline Martin, and I ran her sale business for almost 3 years.
Right.
So that was pretty busy. We were on the road quite a lot. We went to the Pan Ams, all of those things while I was there. And
That's
then,
big. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. And then so I decided maybe a year ago to go out on my own as well. And it just so happened that I met Chris, and Chris was going out on his own as well. And we said, well, why don't we go out on our own together?
So that's interesting. So let's go back earlier, and then I'm going to ask about the meeting.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to take over.
No, go nuts, man. I'm enjoying this.
Ireland. Where in Ireland? When did the love of horses start? Do you have a horsey family or not?
Yeah, I mean, no, my family is not horsey at all.
And that's kind of hard to do in Ireland. Right?
Any relation? I know it's
No, I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
You're going to say Ben.
That's his uncle.
No.
I don't teach
That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say Conor McGregor.
No.
Damn.
No, I'm not. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Okay. I figured it was unlikely. Ben Maher made more sense.
Yeah. So I mean, like in Ireland, it's such a culture. Horses.
Right.
Like there's one. You're never too far away from one.
No.
So I grew up, and I was the same as Chris. Like you'd drive down the road, and there'd be a horse, and I was always interested in it. And then I got a fluffy white pony at the start. His name was Mary Legs, and he was awful, like all first ponies are. And he would just like pull me over his head trying to eat grass and things like that. And my parents were super supportive. They had no idea what they were doing.
Right.
Looking back now, it's pretty impressive how we got where we were. Like we had no ring. I would just ride around the roads and go hunting on the weekends. And just like you're just born into it.
Right.
Ireland,
that's cool.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, your brother is full into horses too.
Yeah.
Mine is not. Mine is.
So you're the
opposite.
only one in your family,
The
but
only
you
one.
have your brother
Yeah.
that got into it
Yeah,
as well.
so my brother is a manager in Coolmore in Australia.
Oh, very
So
good.
yeah, he does all of the young horses over there.
And the levels that you went through in Ireland, you were eventing? But
Yeah, eventing. I jumped like to 135 level and evented to 2-star.
Good.
I'm mostly selling horses. I work for a lot of dealers in Ireland, Fernhill being probably one of the main ones.
Great, which we'll transition to. I know what you're doing over here now together, but how did you meet?
We probably knew each other a lot from just being horsey
Because
people.
we see each other. We're like, it's like circus. We get it, put up the tents and put them back down.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
then-
More like a carnival.
Carnival.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Well,
We're not as high class as a circus.
It was a circus at TerraNova, because that whole circus line of jumps that scared the heck out of that pony.
Yeah.
But that was actually where we first met officially.
Right.
It was Teranova.
Oh, really?
In the fall of, what was that, 23?
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't it funny in eventing, probably all horse sports, but in eventing specifically, you can see someone, which I'm sure you guys didn't do, but I was thinking of it because this just happened to me. I had seen somebody at events for years.
Yep.
Never met them. Never knew them by name.
Yep.
And then I get introduced, and it's very strange. I don't think it happens in any other part of life.
Yeah,
where
it's
you
almost like you know them, but you don't know them. You're like, this
I've
is
known you
weird,
for
I'm going to
years.
say this.
Yeah, it's funny too because a month prior at Plantation, we were stabled
next to
literally
each other.
right next to each other. And so we kind of knew each other and had talked or whatever, but then, you're busy doing kind of your daily job. And then at Terranova, we finally had time to meet. And
Well, good.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're engaged.
yeah.
Yeah.
wow.
It was all very quick. I moved down here and then, he went out on his own. I was out on my own. And so then we moved in.
And so you were saying there's going to be like a general invite for all all of the podcast listeners
That's right.
to come to
Like a
Ireland.
discount code.
So you just scan the QR code.
I already 10%.
Exactly. So now you get to take over, because I got them up to present. Now you get to do, because they're doing some cool stuff, and that's why they're keeping so busy.
Yeah, well, I know firsthand because actually my wife has
Right.
been hustling to get some horses bought for people.
I
and
saw
whatnot.
them-
So I was
I
like, these
saw them
guys
in and
actually
out
have
of
some
here.
awesome horses. They do a really good job. So I am sort of curious because it seems like you had put a post out about going north.
Yep.
And it's like you have separate businesses but the same business. So how's this working for you guys?
So we each have our own business. I primarily do training and competition horses.
Right. And so that business is called
Talley Equestrian.
Okay.
And
Very, very clever.
Yeah.
It's sort of like hauling eventing.
Exactly. I probably get too emotional, as we know. I have lots of babies in the field that I don't necessarily need, but
you love them.
And then Lee does the sales side, which is Equisales International with Alex Green, Alex Green Kirby, and so. Through that all, we also have a wonderful owner, Allison Pratt, and she owns Home Track Farm, which is based out of Charlottesville, Virginia.
And you had just put a picture out of that barn and that property. My God, it's beautiful.
Like something out of a movie. It's
unreal.
Incredible. It's incredible. And she just bought a property. It took us 2 minutes to drive here. So
right?
Yeah.
We're going to be neighbors.
Yeah, I know. So I've been trying to figure this out. So you go out our driveway, and which way do you go?
Turn left.
Turn left. Okay, and then?
And then you pull in the driveway and turn right.
If you pass in the nighttime,
You
it
know
looks
where
like a nightclub.
where the blue lights are in the trees?
Yes.
That's our farm.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's awesome.
So we'll be out
We'll
of there.
hack over to each other's houses.
Yeah,
there we go.
We're trying to make a path. You'll see us eventually.
That's
coming through your way.
That's great. I like that.
But so I do. People can send me horses in training that kind of want to go on and be competition horses. Down the road, if they're not going to be an advanced horse, 5-star horse, maybe we slot them in and they get sold through the sale program. So it really works out. If he has something that comes in that I'm super interested in, then it can kind of, we buy it from whomever might have sent it to him or who has sold it to him. And
that's a good line. That's a way to do it.
Yeah.
Cool. And so, Lee, you've got obviously the sales side.
Yep.
And so, like I was saying, we've been really fortunate lately, found some really nice horses through you.
Yep.
What is sort of I don't know what the word would be, but the business model for getting those horses over here?
Yeah.
Where do you find them? What do you do? Not that you want to give away your secret recipe.
Yeah.
But what is the vision for that program?
Well, I'm lucky that I have so many friends in Ireland that it's easy for me to just call someone and say, hey, or they call me and they say, hey, I've got this really nice horse. And we've got some people that we trust over there that we can just say, okay, I trust you. And then we ship it over. And
So you don't have to go make the trip.
No, ideally not, because it's so expensive and finding time is precious. So they send the horses, but then also a lot of it comes from consignment. So people who have a nice horse that they want to send to get sold, that takes all the pressure off of them, and we work with them and sell their horse. So the business model really is finding top class horses for people to do whatever job, whether it's to go starter or go 5-star, that they're the right horse for the right person. Yeah.
So to that point, I think what you're saying is you will take horses in on consignment, but you work in a way for the buyer because you're trying to find the best horses to sell. You're not going to just take, if I had some nag out in my field and I said, hey, would you please sell this? I'm assuming you'd be like, well, let me evaluate this.
Yes, exactly. So we normally do a 30-day evaluation period where we try and figure out where the right person is for this horse or what its job is going to be.
Right, okay. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Most of the time there's a job for every horse. You just have to find kind of what that job is. Sometimes you're like, this is not...
Yeah, sometimes you think you know the job, and then you get 30 to 90 to maybe a couple years in, and you're like, this is not this horse's job.
Yep. But that's also, kind of the nice thing is because, we do have performance horses. So even if you get down the road and you're like, this horse doesn't love its job as an event horse, we have different avenues that it can go down. So, maybe it's better suited as a young rider, junior horse or whatever. Maybe it's not going to be a top horse for any of us. But
and we're very lucky. Alex has got 3 150 horses now. She's recently switched. She evented to the 4-star level, and now she switched to show jumping. So there's a lot of different.
Yeah, we miss her.
Yeah,
we miss her a lot.
I've been trying to get her to go cross country schooling with us, but it's hard now.
She's probably like, no, I like this meter 50 stuff.
Yeah,
which takes a lot of guts as well.
It does, but scary.
But I have to say, I was thinking it at the event this weekend, it does seem like a little bit of a nicer life.
Yep.
Jumping. It seems just a little it's intense. I am 100% certain when you're standing outside the ring getting ready to go into a big class, you're nervous just like you would be going into cross country. But I feel like there's less walking. which would be nice.
Sure. Yeah.
Less
much more centralized.
Less trying to confuse yourself between like, oh wait, I need to do dressage. No, I need to go cross country mode.
But it's supposed to apply, you know.
It's supposed to.
When you're going cross country, you're like slightly shoulder 4. That's right. That doesn't always work.
No, I mean, a lot of the conversions. I mean, like Doug Payne made the complete changeover. I think some of the eventers are seeing that that's their best path forward, which is great.
Yeah.
And they obviously are doing great because I've already seen Alex in several Grand Prix. So, and of course, Doug's been doing them. So, we miss y'all.
But it does seem like, just to stay on that topic a little bit, like if you've ridden top level event horses and you make the switch to show jumping, like there is a learning curve, but it seems like as long as you have the right horse and the right coaching, and you're not trying to make what maybe wasn't a good enough event horse into a show jumper, but you're trying to ride a show jumper, it seems like the learning curve is a little bit easier than if you just went in cold.
For sure.
Because you know how to ride to a jump.
100%.
Yeah, definitely agreed. So, with your new farms, and everything happening, newish relationship, but going to end in a marriage soon.
It's kind of a negative way of saying that.
Hopefully it's going to end in a marriage.
End in a marriage? It's gonna blossom.
No, this will end and then it will begin.
Okay, that's better.
So the wedding's in Ireland. Why did y'all choose to get married in Ireland? I want to hear this story.
Well, that was all Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I've only ever been to Ireland once before. Surprisingly, I was over there for 24 hours, looked at horses, and then came home.
Yeah, that's the best way
I
to
had
do
family problems, so we were supposed to be there for longer.
But it didn't happen.
You know, it didn't happen. I had to get on an emergency plane home. But anyway, so when we went over, and I proposed, then...
Oh, so you proposed there?
Yeah.
And you proposed?
Very American.
Yeah.
On the Cliffs of Moher.
I didn't understand why we had to go to the Cliffs of Moher in the rain and the wind, but it was very important that we went on that day.
But it's just such a beautiful country, and he also has a lot of family members that maybe might not make the trip here. They're older, and his grandparents are older.
Sure.
I have one living grandparent left, so I thought it was more important.
That was very selfless.
You know,
that was nice.
They be involved. So
no wonder you're getting married to him.
Yeah, right.
What a guy.
Yeah.
And then, so the date.
October 23rd.
And
5 p.m.
What 5 p.m. at? What are you wearing?
We're gonna wear green, and our bridal party's gonna wear cream.
Oh, very cool. How many's in the bridal party?
Oh, that's
7 on each side.
Yes. We have a lot of friends.
That's awesome. This would be a big
We
party.
can't let anyone out, so.
So are you doing separate bachelor parties?
We haven't
Ooh, actually, I
gotten
hadn't
there.
thought of this.
I know, we haven't really thought of that either. A lot of our friends on both sides are mutual friends. So
So you just do it together?
I think we just do it together.
We do everything together. We
It'd be-
live together,
I mean,
we work together.
Briggs
we
and
do
I didn't
everything
have a
together.
bachelor party. We just got married.
We probably won't end up having one because we travel so much anyways that it's
Right.
like every weekend. Is
We could have a
not a
weekend
bachelor
stable
party,
day.
but you go somewhere.
Exactly.
Right. You're right. I'm sorry. I feel like that's actually on me.
Well, you know,
We
and
should
I
do
got to
one
say,
right now.
yes,
Let's
that's no. Actually, it's okay because I need to make this real clear. We're left out of every bachelor party that ever happens in our eventing world. So
okay, the next bachelor party that I go to,
I feel like that's a hint.
I'll make
it's
sure.
incredible. I see all these things. Oh, the guys are at a bachelor party in Las Vegas, and Briggs and I look at each other and go, I guess we don't know them, and we didn't get invited.
Huh. I mean,
See,
I got married
The
when I
good
was
news is we're going to have a
23,
real
so-
big party in Ocala, more than likely in January when we come
That's
back.
great,
We'll
we'll do
officially
that.
be married at that point, but
that'd be good.
If you guys have a bachelor party, I think you probably need to.
Yeah,
invite
Yeah, I think so.
let me just add them to the
It'd be
list.
Rebecca Farms.
That way we can get to know them better, even, you know, because we don't really, we've talked and had conversations, but not any in-depth
Well, we're
conversations.
neighbors now, so I'll tell you.
I
all
know,
about
and
them.
evidently there's a nice farm in Virginia we can go visit too.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I'm sure they'd be thrilled.
That's the way we do it. So as we get into now, you going to Stable View with 7, and you had 6 at TerraNova. How did you do at TerraNova?
They were good. The young horses, we had 2 in the training. They had baby moments. They were both 5-year-olds, but I think TerraNova it's a great venue, and it's amazing to have. I think it's for baby horses, it's good to get them in that atmosphere.
Absolutely.
And you kind of find out a lot about them. Like my 1 5-year-old mare, she was quite spicy because of the flags and everything, and I ended up, putting my hand up in the dressage. And then I was fortunate that they let me use it as a learning experience, and I still got to go cross country.
Oh, that's good.
So it was really good, but it wasn't going to be reflective of her. So I thought it was kind of more important to just say, not today. But the other one, again, we went out of the start box. First fence was quite spooky, and there was a lot of problems at the training. So we did a.
What did you think of? I walked that course. I'm just sort of curious. What did you think of the line between, I think it was 4 and 5?
3 and 4.
3 and 4.
Under the tree.
Yeah, it was
to kind
weird.
of do this and then angle it. It was quite interesting.
Didn't it feel like they just were forgot?
Yeah, or they were like, these should be future advanced horses, so maybe let's let them angle that.
Yeah, it was
odd. It was interesting.
It was the only thing I saw that I was
Did Mogi design that or somebody else?
I'm assuming it was Mogi, but it looked honestly, it looked to me and maybe she did think the angle, I guess that could have been. I just was like, I think you're supposed to S-bend. I don't really know.
Yeah, I kind of thought that. But I think I ended up doing that because we were spooking. But
right.
So those were the 2 training babies. But what else?
Yeah, they ended up very well. So they came out of it better. And then we had 3 in the prelim.
Yep.
Lee had 1 that did his first 1-star.
Yep.
And those were all within the top 8.
Yep.
Awesome.
So
you had one star,
Yep,
one FEI horse. The rest were all national. Because I saw y'all at the national tent.
Yeah.
Did you have the FEI horse in the FEI stabling?
He was all by himself.
No, he was in the FEI stabling.
He's only 6. It was his first FEI. So
yeah, so he's alone.
So he's in the other barn. That is tough.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get all those horses with passports and shots, so you couldn't do that.
Yeah. He wasn't offended. He was
so
the fastest one.
That sounds like a baby show.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to a big show, or what are you doing at Stableview?
So we have the 4-star horse is going to just run the 3-star and have a nice easy run.
Yep.
He did a 4-star last year at Bucart.
Give us a name.
F.E. Marco Polo.
Yep.
And I have him entered at Kentucky in the 4-short. So, but because of the rule with the timeline, he needs to do a FEI. So I just put him in the 3-short.
Oh, I got you. So he was timing out for an FEI start.
Yep.
I got you.
He had a little bit of a thing last year, had some time off. He was only 8, so now he's 9.
Yep. So you got to get that. That's the 3-star run, and then going.
And then we have another intermediate horse, 4 prelim horses.
Yep.
We have a lot of nice young horses coming up through the levels that are 6
I mean,
year,
prelim,
6,
intermediate, those are really can step up pretty quickly with you.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So tell us about the FE Marco Polo.
So so as I said, he's a 9-year-old this year. I think he could be just as good as any.
Yep, good.
So we'll see.
Is he strong in all 3 phases?
Yeah, he's very. I mean, he's an emotional horse, but I also am emotional. So him and I kind of.
What is he? What breed is he?
He's German.
Okay.
But he's funny. He was a stallion up until I think he was 5 years old, and then they cut him. Clayton Frederick sourced him, brought him over here. He does not like being alone. Sometimes he can scream through his dressage test, but when all the pieces are there, it's good.
Actually, I don't know you that well, but it does seem a lot like you.
Screaming through his dressage.
Doesn't like being alone. Sometimes screams through his dressage.
Exactly. Loves cross country. Once we get out of the box.
I made a good assessment.
So it can be interesting sometimes. We were the last horse to go in the advance to Carolina, and I had to grab him because he's screaming to anybody who will listen, and he knows where his friends are all the time, which are usually back in the stabling. So, but once he gets out on cross country, I mean, he's probably one of the nicest cross country horses I've
That's
seen.
awesome.
So.
Well, we're very excited about that one. Well, why don't we do this? We're going to take a break, right, John?
Yep.
Hear from our sponsors, come back, and then you're going to have to tell us the future plans for that one and your future plans for your sales program and your riding career, because you're riding.
Yep.
That's part of the deal.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks to Equibrew, and we'll be right back.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Another thing I love about Jump for Joy is that the jumps are so easy to move. It takes me and one other person to make a whole new cross-country questions. No tractors needed. I've got a lot of different sort of questions I've been able to design with these jumps. Set up some really difficult angled hedges, bank out the water to an angled hedge, and have these really nice skinnies. And another great thing is they have these amazing flags, so the horses always understand the jump between the flags.
Hey, it's John here. I just want to let you guys know I got back from schooling at Magnolia Sands Farm here in Ocala, Florida. Their cross-country field is perfectly suited for a first outing on a young horse or schooling your upper-level horse. Magnolia Sands offers over 110 jumps ranging from starter to intermediate, plus multiple banks, ditches, and waters. They're constantly updating their courses and have even added new ditches and a starter ditch wall. Conveniently located in Northeast Ocala, Magnolia Sands has made it easy for riders and trainers with online waivers, Venmo, and PayPal, and even offer a golf cart for guests. MagnoliaSandsFarm.com. Reset, reboot, rebuild, restore. Experience the transformative power of our formulas you can trust. Elevate your horse's well-being from the inside out with Parkmore's supplements. European designed, American manufactured, and Kentucky Proud certified. Parkmore's Devil's Own Detox, Nature's Own Binding Agent, cleansing your horse's system. Now available for your canine kids too. Say goodbye to unwanted elements and hello to vitality. Parkmore Special Vitamin Mineral Supplement, a micronutrient powerhouse. No fillers, just 4 ounces a day for a 5-star adventure to thrive. Because excellence deserves exceptional nutrition. Parkmore GLF Immuno Booster. Unleash the magic gold, the #1 building block for cell replication. Elevate wellness and recovery for your horses and dogs, whether after training, travel, competition, or during periods of injury, illness, or surgery. Parkmore HI Oil Infusion. Customize your blends of herbs and spices to naturally combat inflammation, bacteria, and restore gut flora. Elevate your horses and dogs' appetite naturally. Expert guidance awaits. For more information, schedule an online, telephone, or on-site consultation with Fleur or one of our dedicated team members. Visit parkmoresupplements.com or call, text at 502-265-8345 to elevate your companion's well-being today. Since 1950, Maison Forestier has been offering its know-how to design custom-made saddles for passionate riders. In 2016, Maison Forestier took a turn and expanded into the sports world with the goal of improving the performance of the rider-horse pair. You will find a professional, reactive, and fun team to answer your needs. And this is why I have chosen Forestier for all of my saddlery needs. Feel free to contact the saddle expert in your area for more information by visiting www.forestier.com.
Welcome back to the John and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We're in the Jump for Joy studio with Chris Talley and Lee Maher. And in the first segment, we talked a lot about your background, where you came from, how you got together. Now we're going to talk about the future. So who wants to go first?
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Future. Okay, let me set the stage.
Yeah.
You're married, October.
Yeah.
But you got to fill us in between now and that October, and then after October.
So I think we probably planned the wedding like any horse person. We'll fly out the Tuesday after Fairhill, be back for the next show the following weekend.
It's funny, right?
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but we all plan
Around shows.
all around shows. It's either I'm going to have surgery or I'm going to make a major life change, like getting married. That's
We
what
called
we
the
do.
venue and they were like, "This is the only time." And we're like, "Okay, we're putting down the deposit. We've never been there, seen the place or anything." We're like, "Okay, we want it because this is the only time that works for us."
Right. Perfect. And it worked into your schedule. So
exactly.
obviously you're going to be doing Maryland then.
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 5-year-olds that are very nice.
You're going to do the 5-year-old
So
young
we'll
horse.
do the 5-year-olds. I have a 3-star horse. Still kind of playing with ideas of where to take him. Kind of falls into the 4-star horse. He'll, as we talked about, we'll go to Kentucky. And then he's 9 this year, so I think kind of the hopeful goal is Blenheim in the fall, and then if that goes well, stay over for Buccolo and do the 4 long there. So if that happens, I would like to go to Rebecca kind of in July. Make sure, he's good at the 4 long level. He's done a 4-star last year. But before we invest the money to send him over, just make sure we check the boxes here. So if that happens, we might take the 3-star horse. Lee has a couple of horses that are just getting ready to do. One did its first FEI. Another one's getting ready to do its first. So those might tag along. I have 2 really nice 6-year-olds
That's cool.
The 6 and 7-year-old mares.
So that's plan A.
So that's plan A.
Plan A,
and
yeah.
then after that we have up until
D,
D.
C, and E.
Yeah.
Yep.
It
That's
involves
good.
a lot of horse shows.
Yeah, because obviously Blenheim is not an easy place to go, but that is a good destination to go to, and then Bocolo definitely is a cool place for that.
Yeah.
You,
Lee.
Me.
in case you can't see me, because we are on Spotify and iHeart and all those things.
Good job.
I'm pointing at Lee.
Yeah, well
you have a 1-star horse now. You've competed up through the 2-star. I'm sure you want to keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's your plan? What do you want to do? So you're not always just
Tagging along.
following your husband.
No, it's fun. It's fun to go on the road and do it all together. I would love to grow the business more. As much as I love riding, I do love putting the right horse with the right people. So that's a big goal. And then these 3 horses that I have now are really nice. So we'll just keep going up the levels with them. We just imported another horse from Ireland that's going to be a sale horse. So just keep going with that and doing that.
Just add the stars to your name.
Yeah, ideally. Another couple.
So tell me about the travel plans then. Do you both go? What do you do if you're going to go for an extended stay? Are you going to fly back and forth? What's going to happen there?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably stay back, send Chris, and then I'll fly over.
For the competitions themselves.
the competitions
and then go
themselves.
back and run the business.
Yep, and we've got a really good team of people at home behind us, so that's good.
So how many you have working for you?
There's one girl with us right now, and then when we go back to Virginia, we've got a whole set of people, so there's probably about 6 or 7 people back there.
Yeah.
And it seems, Lee, like your passion is the sales and wanting to do that. Like that's what you're into. That's obviously the jobs you've had with Fernhill and then Caroline. Like it's all about producing those young horses and placing them in the right place.
Yeah, it's come from my childhood. Like we didn't have horses and we didn't really know what it was, so you would sell one to buy another one.
Right. Well,
so
plus you're Irish. That's a very Irish mentality, right?
It's the mentality. It's the
I think
way.
the running joke is like, the Irish team have amazing horses. They've sold them to all the other teams,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. But it's nice to see, like, someone came up to me at the weekend, they were like, I just love my new horse that I bought off you 2 weeks ago. And that's really important because someone has to do that job. Someone has to provide horses for people.
And you're excellent at it. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So keep going, man.
Oh my gosh, I was waiting to see if he was going to take
No, you got it. You got it. You're killing it
look
today.
at you.
I'm good. I'm just gonna
let's get back into again getting prepared, because a lot of people don't understand how derailed we can get.
Yeah.
I mean, poor Briggs, my husband, had a derailment at Carolina where he had a fluke fall off at the 4th fence. And then this thing happened. We did all the right things. We went down to the 3-star. We're going to put her in for a nice cross-country run. And then she's never done that before in her life.
That stupid circus triple is the worst.
Plus the wind and the flags, because the flags the flags, I get it, and I understand how cool they are. Yeah. But maybe we could take them down for a little bit.
Or, we have 3, not 85.
You have to have one for every country.
So tell me, so Briggs is going through, and I'm sure he doesn't mind me talking about it. Psychologically, it plays.
I think he does a little.
Oh, whatever. Psychologically, it plays on you, and all of you as riders, right? He always looks at me and at least says, "How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you get up, brush off the dust, and keep going?" Because it gets in some people's heads to where they can't clear it out. We're going to go with Chris because I know you've had those days.
Yeah.
So tell us what you do.
I mean, I think I try, especially now, like a month out up into a big competition, I try not to focus too much on the main focus, if that makes sense, because I could really get quite crazy about it all. So I think for me, it's important to kind of spread my thoughts to all the other horses, whether they're 5 or, and I can, the 5-year-old that kind of lost it at the show, and I can say, well, this is just going to be a training weekend. Sure, it was expensive.
Sure.
But, I'm going to use it as an opportunity to kind of really school and teach this horse something. So, but, I do try to really kind of focus a lot on every horse versus just the one horse that's going to, let's say, Kentucky, because, again, I could kind of get lost in my thoughts if I stayed there. And it's, last year was a little bit interesting. I started out on my own, and I had 2 8-year-olds. They moved up to advanced, and they were both amazing horses. And one we kind of offered for sale, not really expecting her to be sold, and within a week or 2 weeks she was sold.
That might be my fault.
Good job.
Salesman here.
You're like, what? As you see her going down the driveway.
Yeah, and then the other one, had just a very slight kind of, I wouldn't even call it an injury. Again, it was one of those things we could have kept going, but he was only 8, so gave him the rest of the year off so he could come out stronger this year. And suddenly I went from having 2 8-year-old 4-star horses to riding the next best one was prelim moving up to intermediate. Right. And, I was so close to kind of getting back to that level that, then you just kind of have to sit back. But then you also have to kind of realize that I think for me, I always kind of think that the universe has a bigger plan, and selling the 8-year-old 4-star horse kind of really set me on a trajectory to have a life outside of horses that I've kind of always wanted. But, as most equestrians and especially young professionals, we live day to day, paycheck to paycheck, and, sometimes not even that. So, that was good for me. And then, now again this year, it's the 4-star horses back better than ever. So I had to sit there and kind of produce the young horses, but I also love the young horses. So
yeah, that's great. But and then, so what about the Burley horse? And I know that he was tough.
Yeah,
he was tough tricky. In the dressage. I mean, he was tough.
Yep. And he was probably. I'm kind of thankful I had him when I did, because if I had him in today's day and age, I would be CR'd a lot.
Right. In the show jump. So everybody that's listening, if you don't know what CR'd is, compulsory retirement due to having 5 rails in the show jump.
Which I think is an interesting topic because, watch your shoes squeaking a bunch. There you go.
We're going to have a conversation. I think I know where you're
so
going.
Because it's not your shoe. Who is that? It's you. Who's?
I got the blame for that one.
Yeah, it wasn't Chris. I apologize. No, it's you. Stop your squeaking. So you say the CR, and that horse wouldn't have gotten to do what it did. It was a good cross-country horse?
It was to this day, I had my first 4-star short. I was 19, 20, and I put him on a terrible line, and he scooted by it, and that was the only 20 I've ever had on him. When frangible technology came into play, I had 2 pins. One was at Burley, and again, it was a green rookie mistake on my part. I kind of rode a line I shouldn't, but at the end of the day, the horse was the best cross-country horse I've ever ridden. He was full thoroughbred. First start off the track, 4 months after coming off the track, was a training level. But at the same time, the horse knew at Burley we jumped on top and off of the Irish bank that they had. And he knew how to just graze things, which obviously doesn't work in the show jumping. So there would be days where, he was a bit tense and hot, so we'd have a 40 or 45, and then I'd go show jumping and I'd have 8 rails down and I'd be devastated. And we always said that we would do the Billy climb because he was such a good cross-country horse. We would be at the bottom of the leaderboard, and when he was fast and jumped clear cross-country, we would move up.
So knowing what, so full disclosure, I was a part of the conversations of this rule, and we had some data at the time that showed there was a bit of a correlation between more than 4 pulls down and poor performance on cross-country.
Yep.
And we looked at it and we're like, okay, that actually makes sense logically.
Yep.
Let's go with it. Now we're years down the road, and I've seen enough of it, and this is just me personally, and I'm just asking opinions on this. I've seen enough of it where I'm not as convinced from what I've seen that there is actually a correlation between accidents on cross country and a horse that isn't a good show jumper. And I'm not leading you to an answer. I'm sort of curious. You lived it, so what do you think?
I think, and I've seen it with students, I teach a lot, and I taught a lot more when I was in Virginia, but I think, I think that there are certain horses that I see that have 7 poles, 6 poles, and I definitely think, I sit there and watch them show jump, and I question whether that should maybe go cross country, but then I also know that there are those kind of trickier horses that are such good cross country horses, but because they kind of graze the cross-country fences. So then I wonder, where their place in today's sport. I think we are leaning towards more of a scopier, more careful horse, even with the pins on cross-country. But I also think maybe those horses that, especially back in the day, the thoroughbred types or, the not as careful horses, are we starting to not see a place where they are in the sport, but at the same time, they are unbelievable cross-country horses. So it's hard. I don't know that there is a answer for that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's tough because I think there's a difference between a horse going in and having 5 rails down because it's a bit of a skimmer.
Yeah.
And a horse going in and having 5 rails down because
it's dangerous.
Or even worse, because a rider on it isn't capable of riding accurately enough to be able to.
And it's hard to say what the stats are for the 5 rails.
Well, right, because you can't go back now since it's come in and prove it because you haven't let them run.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but then this is my other thing is like, I think how much does that play on a rider's psyche? Because, you have a kid that's 20 and they go in and get CR'd and they can't go cross country and they come to the next event worried they're going to get CR'd. So it doesn't help, in my opinion, develop the rider to become more confident in the ring.
Right.
Because
And
with
also
eventing,
from my
we
point
have
of
one
view, it's like
chance.
selling horses as well. It's like everyone wants this packer horse to take them around cross country and teach them, but then necessarily it mightn't be the best show jumper. So then you have a rail or 2 down the show jump, and then suddenly it's like it's not good enough. But then you have one that's too careful for cross country, and then you run into problems. So it's like finding this happy medium of a good cross country horse, or maybe a horse that does have 3 rails down that teaches you how to go cross country or takes you up the levels.
Well, for sure. And I think I fear, and this is just a general statement, and we can talk about it or comment on it as you guys see fit, but like I fear we're getting so into we have to have great dressage horses, we have to have great show jumpers, that we're forgetting the most important part is cross country.
Yep.
Like I went this weekend and had 2 horses in the 3-star and had what I would consider with both horses, for both of them, sort of slightly below average scores from what I wanted. But they both had good cross-country rounds. Even if I'd gone a little bit faster, I would have been second on one, and I kind of chose not to go tearing around. And the other one, if I'd gone faster, because we had a couple issues in the warm-up with that one, like the point is they would have been, with a fast clear round, they went clear as a schooling round, but with a fast clear round, they would have been very competitive off of what I was a little disappointed with on the flat.
Yep.
But I think that's too important for the younger viewers or anybody who's really listening, because it's like those moments also you're training the horses. So it's like you might not have a fault-free show jumping. There's days you're going to struggle with any horse. I have a very good show jumper. He gets quite tense at the shows, and he kind of runs through me, and we go sometimes bowling. And it's been this fine line of this up and down. Thing with him, but he's actually been one of the most rewarding horses, because even when I come out of the dressage or the show jumping and I'm like, we were so close to getting CR'd or so close to not having a qualifying score, at the end of the day, now he's 8 and he's finally starting to settle into himself. And but I think it's hard to not get discouraged, but I would also say if I didn't have that horse, I wouldn't be where I am now. So
and it's 3 different faces.
So here I got a good example. It's Cooley Space Gray.
Yeah. Yep.
We looked up I love that horse.
No, he's unbelievable.
Yeah. But never, hard to get a qualifying score in dressage.
Yeah.
Girl was 4th at this 4-star with a 45.7, so it's not a qualifying round. To me, and I was talking to Briggs on the way home, I was like, if you, and I'm talking just dressage, not show jump.
Yeah.
I think we need to look at if there is a score that is not qualifying and yet they're in the top 5.
Yeah.
That there needs to be a way to allow that
to be a qualifier.
Yeah. Because the problem with that is it makes, and I'm not just saying her, but you have to go to more events to do something that horse doesn't really need to do because it's brilliant at show jumping cross country.
Or, and I don't know her at all, or
I don't know her.
You go home and you train on it really hard, right? In all seriousness, you go home and you train on it possibly too hard because you're like, we've got to get this mark. You're so good at this stuff. And then it's even more unhappy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? And that's, you can, I know people be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. But we're competitive people. You do the best you can. And I'm not condoning any of that.
Well, and in her case, when you're
so y'all must know her.
I know her. I don't know her super well, but I know.
And that's just an example, obviously.
So close to going 5-star. I think she is actually one of the first timers at Land Rover this year.
Right.
But I would be curious, with that, you're so close to getting that qualifying score that then you try to go to all these events, like you guys were saying, or train harder. And it's like, that horse has an unbelievable jumping record.
Yeah. Right.
And so one of my horses to pick to get around and to do very well and be actually fast and inside the time at Kentucky would be that horse. But, is she qualified to get there because she maybe is a tick too far over in the dressage? I don't know. I don't know what her actual qualification would be. I'm assuming, maybe she needed this event this weekend. And
she didn't. I think we looked up her. She needed 2 4-longs.
Yeah.
And
which I think she has.
She has those.
But to me, that would be disappointing for me if I was her.
It would be very disappointing for me.
Watching her go.
I can tell you this. I've never once sat in the start box at a 5-star and thought, God, I really am thrilled that I had such a great dressage test. That's going to make today go better.
Yeah, I think that's the conversation we need to start having, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny was a prime example of, like, he would have 5 rails, simply priceless. But this, when it's dressage, right? Dressage. And it used to be qualifying score was a 50 at 50%.
Yeah.
And that 5% can be hard to get to. I mean, that 5% took a lot of horses out of the qualifying dressage scores.
Yeah.
I just think we need to look at that again.
I agree with you, actually. Absolutely. So just to lighten it up a little bit here at the end.
Yeah, it was very heavy.
No, I think that was great. I'm glad we did that. It was a great conversation. So Chris, I've always paid attention
to what you wear,
to the jogs. So I know you said that you try the last month before a big event not to get too hyper focused on the event. Right. Yeah. So have you picked out your jog outfit yet?
I may or may not have.
Okay.
It'll be a secret to everybody. No.
Okay.
I have not picked out the one.
On the daily, where's Chris? And he's there.
I can tell you Chris has picked out his.
He's doing something. It's productive always. But
I haven't picked it out yet.
No, really? Mm-mm. I'm kind of shocked. I figured you would have had this laid out by now.
I did just say the other day. Lee actually reminded me. He said there is a jog for the 4-star, and I went, oh.
I go, there's a whole day gone one of these days.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. I'm excited to see. It's always very fashionable.
Because there's 1 or 2?
No, you just have one.
Just one.
You have the final day job.
That'll be easy. We'll just get one outfit.
That's easy. You just have one. But you do have one. It's formal.
It is. I do put a lot into it.
I see purple.
Purple.
Okay. I see purple.
Purple and leather.
Yeah, purple and leather. Yeah. I mean, it's the color of royalty. The color of royalty.
Spring.
Prince.
Yeah.
I love Prince.
Why don't we dress you?
I'm not going to be at Kentucky.
But whenever you are going to be somewhere, I think you should let.
I actually saw.
We could do another.
You can come up to the wardrobe
on another John and Rich
just root around and take
and
it.
we could do a whole outfit wardrobe.
I think that would be fun.
That would be fun.
We need to do that. That's a good idea.
Are we going to do a competition again? Are we doing another viewer
we always
competition?
Have to do a competition.
So what is this week's?
What's their date of their marriage?
23rd of October.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's good. It doesn't matter.
You're good. Good. I'm glad
they have to watch.
Okay.
To get to that date.
Yep.
So, as always, guys, you know the deal. You have to go onto the YouTube channel and you have to put into the comments the date of the wedding that is upcoming for Lee and Chris and what country it's in. And then we will pick the winner who will get the
$25 gift certificate to I Love My Horse.
Perfect. All right. So that's the competition. Also, make sure you guys please go on all of the podcast players, give us a rating there. We really appreciate it. That helps us out a lot. Lots of comments, 5-star reviews. If you don't like us, well, just don't watch, but don't give us a bad review. That's not helpful. Yeah. Come on. Be nice. So, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you guys for having
It's been fun.
Good luck at Stableview.
Thank you.
And I guess we'll see everybody at Kentucky here very soon.
Yep.
You just said you weren't going.
No, I'm going. I'm just not.
So you can dress up.
Well, I'm not gonna. I'll be the guy dressed for the jog, not jogging.
That would be fun. Yeah.
I did do that with Lucinda once.
Yep, you did.
And we sat at the end of the jog strip.
Mm-hmm. That was like 3 years ago.
That was COVID.
3 years ago.
I think, right?
Yeah,
we did the
2020.
live stream.
That's cool. See, John, you can sit at the end.
I'll be the guy in the
with
Star Wars
Lucinda.
shirt.
Lucinda will be there. Lucinda Green and Robert Ronnie Beard will be there for Briggs, so that's pretty cool.
Perfect.
All right, signing off.
Awesome. We'll catch you guys. It'll be one more before Kentucky, right?
Yep.
All right. So we'll have a little Kentucky preview on the next show. God, now I got to plan that.
Start planning now. You're going to call me at 6:30 in the morning?
Probably. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport.